Hi, I'm Jeremy Witcher.
And I'm Calvin Witcher.
And today we are talking about relationships.
Yes, we are, for the first time on video.
We're in a relationship, and
We are.
questions that we often get asked is, how do you make things work?
Yes.
So how do we make things work?
Well, we've been together for almost, I guess we should tell the people watching, that would be a good idea. We've been together for almost 9 years. We'll be 9 years in February. I guess it doesn't matter the time, does it? But
I don't know.
almost 9 years. And so, yes, we get asked a lot about, how do you make things work for us being together so long?
So there are a lot of things that make things work, but what is the biggest thing that you can start with?
I think the biggest thing, and we often say this, is really having an understanding of what your roles are in the relationship.
Roles are kind of a nasty word for a lot of people. We traditionally have thought of roles as something that keeps one partner down versus the other person.
Very controlling.
It's very controlling, usually, when you talk about roles. Typically, the female has been thought of, she's the one who, we went through the women's right movement and all of that, and still working through things today with that. And so it has a lot of negative things when you talk about roles. Typically, the women, they wash, they clean, they did the child rearing, and the man went out and did his role. And there's a whole set of things with that.
Sure.
So when we talk about roles, there's a lot of negative response that we often get.
Right. Well, I think there's probably a lot of misunderstanding, too, of what I think you're right about. I think a lot of that comes with the misunderstanding or just the misconceptions of that one person is really subservient to the other person, or that maybe one role is more valuable or less valuable than the other, and that's not really what we're talking about.
That's not what you're talking about.
No, that's not what we're talking about.
So what are we talking about?
We're talking about and basically an understanding of what makes your relationship work, what makes it hum, what makes it balanced, what makes it peaceful. Just like you would with any business, everyone that has a job
understands that. I knew you were going to say that word, business.
Business. Relationships are business.
Now, when you first started talking to me about relationships being as a business, that really turned me off. That was not because I'm a romantic.
It turns everyone off.
I wanted it to, be about love and all that. And when you started talking about a business, and I really didn't respond that well to it at first, but as we have been together and the longer we've been together,
right.
And you talk about how the day runs or how your week runs or your month or your years, you really understand that, yes, I take care of some things, you take care of some things, we have our strengths,
yes.
We balance each other out. And that then starts functioning like a machine and is very business-like in the most positive sense of the word, right? I mean, that's
right.
What businesses do. They have employees and they have bosses and they do things, and everyone in a good business knows their role and their function and when to be there, and that's the kind of stuff you're talking about.
Absolutely. And maybe business is not a great word, but most people understand what business means. And most things are really set up in the way that businesses are set up, and businesses really are
You're talking about a structure.
It's a structure, really. Churches are businesses. It's the structure, and schools are set up as a business. It's a structure. Relationships are no different, and you just need to look at it from that standpoint of what is the structure of your relationship, what's going to make it work.
And a lot of us go into relationships not even thinking about the structure and what our structure. Now, do all relationships have to have the same structure?
No, I don't think all relationships have to have the same structure, because, relationships, just like people, because they're typically made up of people, are
very good.
Very good. Point one.
Yeah, great.
Relationships are about people.
Great.
That relationships, just like everyone, they're different. So what one person does, what one couple does, is not necessarily going to work. But I think the basics are
what
universal.
What one person does doesn't mean the other one. What do we say?
What one couple? What works for one couple might not work for another couple. Bam, we have simplified it. Boom.
We're very clear.
Yes.
Staying in the fog really helps out your relationship too.
And this is where we need coffee. Coffee always works.
It does. Right. Well, yeah. And I think we try to duplicate things too much.
We try to copy.
copy.
Yes, we try to copy someone else's relationship because you see John, you see Susie, and they have a wonderful relationship, or you see John and John, however that looks, and you think that they have a wonderful relationship.
You want that.
And you want that. And so, like anything else, we think if we copy the things that they're doing, then we'll get the same results. And that's just not necessarily the case.
Because you're a different person.
You're a different person, and your circumstances are just different.
Okay, so understanding that there is some kind of structure, and I think for next time we can talk about the different structures in relationships, so people can start understanding, where they fit in.
Absolutely.
So we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Stay tuned.